I was kind of on my back. The car was tilted. I was kind of on my back. Opened my eyes and I look around and I said, "Oh shit, what happened?" You know, I'm looking up at the sky. I remember lights or another car coming, and that's all I remember. And I ended up at the bottom of the mountain, a ravine. So I go ahead and try to scoot myself out on my back, and I'm stuck. My left foot was stuck between the driver's seat and the gear shifter. So the next thought was, oh no, I was in an accident and I'm stuck here and I'm going to die. Kind of like you see on TV, there's, you know, going to be a fire and you're going to be stuck here, and how are you going to get your foot out? Then I took a deep breath and I said, just reach up and see if you can get your foot out. Just, and that's what I did. I leaned up, I untied my left shoe, and my foot came right out. As I scooted out of my car on my back, I was in snow immediately. I was laying in snow. I stood up, then I kind of braced myself and grabbed onto this tree, and then I seen a rock coming out of the ground. No snow on it, so I thought that was going to be my dry spot. I laid there. I laid there for quite a while. That's when the whole anxiety, panic, I felt my hands hurt, so I kind of just kind of laid there in a kind of curled up position and felt really nauseated. And I told myself, wow, you know, you need to get up. Your feet worked. You walked to this rock. Your feet work. So don't let your hands stop you from going to see what happened. But they hurt so crucially bad. Oh my God, I can't even put words to it. It was excruciating. I take my cell phone out and I dial 911. And then it said call failed. Oh, it broke my heart. It broke my heart. I was like, oh no, there's nobody out there. Nobody sees me. There's nobody, you know. So at that point, I just kind of put my phone in my pocket and, you know, I tried. I'm thinking, how am I going to get up this mountain? I had my right shoe on. I did have a jacket. My gloves were in my car, but unretrievable in the condition my car was in. I wouldn't even known, you know, how to get them, or almost a little scared because I had seen that the car was in a tree, the right side of the car, so I didn't want to risk that. So I go ahead and I crawl back to the car and sat by the rear passenger wheel because I knew I had some sweaters in there that I was getting ready to kind of put away the winter stuff and get off the summer stuff. So I sat by that back wheel and I just reached in and I felt something warm. So I'm like, oh yes, my sweaters, they fell this way because everything was, you know, topsy-turvy. So I thought, well, if I grab a couple of sweaters, I can go ahead and bundle up, keep that foot warm. I'm already in snow. My left foot is already soaked from just standing in the snow. And then I go ahead and I reach in and I find the blanket and I think, oh yes, you know, if I can just sit here in this blanket, surely somebody's going to come. So I thought, well, this will work. This is a great idea. I don't know, something came to me that definitely nobody's coming. I mean, it's been a little bit of time, nobody's coming, what should you do? So I reached in, I grabbed some more sweaters and I started a little fire. I thought, well, keep me warm, let me regroup. What am I going to do about this left foot? Maybe somebody would see. That was really my intention. I wanted to be warm as much as I wanted some emergency personnel to see me. And I sat there, I started this little fire, and right there by the back wheel, which is also the gas tank that I just filled up. So I started to smell gas because the car was turned over, and I thought, oh, this isn't good. You know, this isn't good at all. My car's gonna blow up. I'm gonna catch a forest on fire. I went ahead and hopped away from the car to this rock where I was sitting, and then the car started to ignite. So I sat there and, you know, I heard the car blowing up, glass breaking. You know, I'm not sure what the sounds were because I never looked. I mean, I kept ducked away. Um, well, that fire came and went, and all I wanted to hear was, is anybody down there? We're on our way. There was nothing. I couldn't see the road. I couldn't see cars. I didn't hear any cries, for safety. That's when I thought, oh my God, truly nobody knows you're down here. Nobody's coming. So I decided to go ahead and climb up the mountain and see where I was and save myself. I just kind of, anywhere there was a passing or a tree that I could grab onto is that's how I would make my move. I don't have exact ways I went. I probably zigzagged, so I would go to the next tree. Sometimes I would miss the tree, or the tree was so thin and it was so cold, so when I grabbed it, it would actually break, and I would just roll down, and I'd be like, oh, this is gonna hurt. But I just kept doing it, so I would go to the next tree. So I would get up and I would climb to the next one, and this happened for hours, just grabbing trees, breaking, falling down the mountain, scratching my face even more, hurting other things, just bruises, no cuts, no breaks, I was just getting really, really cold, and this was going on for hours. So what I did was I just laid down, and I was just like, oh, if this is the way I'm gonna die, this is easier than a lot of things, because I'm just gonna go ahead and, if I fall asleep, then this is a lot easier than, a lot of horrific stories you hear. But then that little voice come right back in like, get up. I have grandkids to live for, I have a daughter, boyfriend. I'm like, I need to get up. Come on. And I would just psych myself up like a football game, like, come on. And I'd be like, so I take my arms out and I'd be like, and I, open the blanket and stand up, and here I go again. That was the toughest, just keeping myself motivated to keep going. And for so long of the journey, not only was I freezing and hurting, I could not see the road. I traveled all this way up the mountain and back and forth, and I would look up, and there was no lights, there was no sounds of cars, and I'm like, where am I? Where am I? How far down did I go? So I kind of go up and I repeat the same routine, tree to tree. Some would break, some would fall, lay down. I didn't think I could go any further. I already went far enough, already was cold enough that I didn't think I could go any further. Eventually I was closer to the top. As I took these steps, and a lot of times I said I went 2 steps down and 5 steps back with the slide. Finally I got to a point where I know that was a car, I know it was up there, and all I got to do is push myself a little bit further. I eventually made it close enough to the top where my head was probably at street level. Of course, not anywhere that you could see. It was pitch dark, but I knew that's where I was, and I thought, I kind of waved my hand. So a car did come, and I kind of waved my hand, and I thought, okay, they're not going to see you. They're not even looking down the mountain, In my mind, it was my last chance to, for help, to save myself and to receive help. I said, either I'm going to make it to the top, or I'm going to fall, and it's really going to hurt, and I'm not going to be able to get back up. And I went ahead and I made the jump, and I got up. At that point was my relief. It was, I made it out of that journey and that whole experience. The car gets closer and closer, and I kind of wave it down, and it's actually what I recall as a small camper type vehicle. And he did stop. He was the one who stopped, and I told him, he asked what happened to you, and I said I was in an accident and I'm freezing, and he just said a policeman is right behind him, which by then the lights had already come upon us. So I waddled at this point. The feet are just, unbelievable. And I get over to the back of the vehicle, and the policeman's already out, and, asks what happened. Well, I've overcome the biggest challenge. I made it out of that mountain. I made it to safety, got into the best treatment that I know is available, and I have all my toes. Um, they tell me things like they'll be cold forever, and maybe, the precautions I need to take. My hands are working. They do hurt, but they're working, and I'm going to continue therapy, as far as sensitivity and movement. And now I've made it over that. That was number one challenge, living, the gift of life. Now today I challenge medical expenses, the experimental treatment, the cost of the hospitals, all those medical expenses that, come with a stay as intense as I had. But with family, friends, I'm all the thoughts and prayers that I've received and, are out there. I know I can make it. I lived, and I'll make it through this too. So this is today. I have yet another challenge that I need to overcome, and with the help of family and friends, I'm going to be okay. I sit here today and tell you I'm going to be okay.